Good morning, everybody. How are we doing out there? Hey, good morning. We got the chat going. So glad that you're here. Hope everybody's safe from the COVID and pandemic and families close, keeping everybody safe. So today I wanted to start out with a couple of shout outs. I know that I've requested some ideas and things to move forward with, and we'll cover some of those in some of the slides, but I did want to thank a few people, Mark P., Martin S., Peter K., both inside and outside the organization, just for coming up with requests. And that email coming in really helps out formulate what you as ZENworks administrators are looking for. So also I want to shout out to Todd Laycock, who is one of our systems engineers and went through the Service Desk Ideas portal. So go back in there. A lot of them have been updated and adjusted. We may have already incorporated them and enhanced. We missed them on marking that, or defects have occurred. So I just want to let you know that that's been updated. So be aware of that. Also Bob Reynolds, who has also an SE on our side, and he's put out some great documentation on getting what today's demo is for. So I appreciate that. And Lissa, V2, just a couple of weeks ago you mentioned duplicate GUIDs. I hope that got taken care of for you. If not, give me an email. Okay? But as we move forward, a little bit of channel housekeeping. We do this to start for anybody that's new. Log into the YouTube channel so that you can chat and join in the conversation. Okay? If you do an @ sign, you can do a direct message or a DM directly to the person that's asking the question, and that'll get you some communication individually, as well as the exclamation point command. You'll see throughout my presentation some exclamation points, with a couple of characters. If you type those in chat, if you're logged into chat, you type those in chat, you'll get the URL or the reference that I'm referring to, so that you could just click on that link without having to type it directly from my slides. Okay, so be aware of that. We'll have a couple examples of that as well, so that you can get used to that. Also, some YouTube settings, autoplay, turn that off. Should something happen, it'll go to the next whatever's in the channel, not necessarily our channel, but anything in YouTube, depending on how you have it set up. But if you click on that gear down there, set autoplay to off, and then the quality, instead of auto, do to 720p 60. You'll get better resolution that way, and hopefully will come in clear for you. Okay, so and then of course finally subscribe, right? Let's subscribe to the notification. If you subscribe to this channel, or if you're getting tweets, thank you very much for subscribing to those. You'll get notifications as soon as we go live. Okay, so it's kind of a reminder. We come online about 20 minutes prior, so that you can finish what you're doing and be able to attend and join in our conversations and our presentation. So be sure to subscribe down below to this channel, and that'll help out, giving you reminders. And then we're also on Twitter, so be aware of that. And so as we move forward, we're going to cover some conference gatherings. The TTP Virtual Conference USA is coming up, typically for academics. It's the weeks of July 13th through 20th. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday each week will be sessions. It's virtual this year. And then Monday and Friday in between those 2 weeks will be workshops. So if you need more details, go to the URL there. Again, if we type in exclamation point TTP in chat, you'll see that URL come up. Okay, and then of course Micro Focus ZENcast YouTube channel. If you're looking for the schedule, type that in. First and third Tuesday of each month. Remember, this is a 5 Tuesday month, so we will not be meeting that 5th Tuesday. We're going to meet the 1st Tuesday of July. So be aware of that. It's not every other Tuesday. All right? And that's at 9 o'clock Mountain Time, North America. Very good. All right. That's the latest things coming up there. We did have a couple of webinars. So what's new in ZENworks 2020 Update 1, released last month, and Protecting Data with ZENworks just last week. So be aware that those are out there. You can get to you can view the recordings there. And then of course, if you type in !Q2 webinars, you get that in the chat. So you can just click on the link. Okay. Some product news. ZENworks Configuration Management 2020 Update 1 is available. Look at TID 7024523. It was released last week, Monday. It isn't in the ZCC yet. I checked this morning or yesterday, and it wasn't in ZCC yet. That's typical. We'll normally publish it in the TID, and then it'll take a week or so for it to come into the ZCC by checking updates. All right, but you can go to the TID, download it, and start initiating that process. It's out there with the ZDC and the cleaner. Okay, that particular TID is again 7024523. And of course, the PRU for June is out there. Be sure to deploy that. And then there's a product upgrade for 2017. If you haven't done that for the appliance, you'll see the online update if you're registered on your appliance to get updates. You'll see a button just like that if you're familiar with the appliances, which is the current version, and that's for ZCM 2017. It actually does an OS upgrade from SLES 12 SP1 to SLES 13 SP3. I'm sorry, SLES 12 SP3. ZENworks Service Desk 812 is current. There were patches out in May. More patches to come out in August. Those are the security updates. So make sure you get those all patched up in your server. ZENworks Reporting Server also has some security updates, and it patches Tomcat as well. So be aware that has been released, and actually that was last month. And then the DDB migration tools, we've talked to you about this for ZCM and ZSD, and Micro Focus desktop containers. There's an issue with when Microsoft released their update Win 10 20H1 release. There was an issue with that, causing desktop containers to be having some minor issues with that particular update. TID 7024674 will take care of that, and we're getting that fixed in desktop containers 12.7. Okay, so be aware that those are there. A couple of things I wanted to make sure I showed. If I do this, let's see if we can look at which one was it. Here's your online updates. Okay, so if you have your online, let's go back in. If you have your online updates configured, you want to register it here. You'll get the key in your Micro Focus portal. And go ahead and activate that. Once it's activated, you can then update your particular patches. All right, and those are the security patches for the operating system and some features for the particular appliance that you're on. All right, so I wanted to make sure that you saw that particular button. All right, let's go back. What else do we have? Oh, sorry. Micro Focus resources. Of course, COVID, there's some offers out there Micro Focus is putting out there for like Filer and so forth to help you as people work from home. Newly designed Micro Focus support pages. We covered that last time, but you can go there at microfocus.com. It's a little bit easier to navigate to the documentation and the TIDs and so forth. Micro Focus Ideas Portal is also out there. It's been newly redesigned. And it's Ideas Exchange, I think they call it. And then product lifecycle. If you're looking for a product lifecycle, you want to see where your product stands and when you need to get it upgraded, go ahead and check that particular. If we type, if we type that in, it would be that URL there. Okay, feel free to go into chat, and if anybody's out there, say hi. I'm happy to help you through those things if you're not certain about how to get some chat going. All right, so next is education resources. This list keeps growing, and I'm proud that we're able to grow this thing. The on-demand training is out there. Be sure to double check that. Education Central is out there, newly designed. Micro Focus Knowledge Base, which you guys are most obviously aware of. Product forums. This particular channel with other channels. So if you go to the Support and Training YouTube channel for Micro Focus, you'll see Filer, you'll see Cobol, you'll see all the different products that we have in our portfolio, as well as the endpoint management, which has ZENworks, this ZENcast recording, and desktop containers and service desk. So be aware that recordings are out there and use those. And then, of course, the webinar recordings are there, and ZENworks documentation. All right, so they did a great job on redesigning the index for the webinars, so you have one place to look at all of them. And even though they may be a little bit outdated, you should be able to, they probably pertain because we normally add the features. Okay, so even if it's a year ago, there were some great desktop containers and some great videos on full disk encryption. Those are still relevant. Okay. All right, let's move on. New training info. I covered this last time, but I want to give another shout out for those of you that are new. If you've invested in the ZENworks imaging and you're looking at the WinPE, double check the on-demand page. Oliver Vornwald did a redesign or a three-part series of WinPE imaging. And you can take your investment into Zen imaging, move it over to WinPE imaging, and be able to still use what you've invested. He also did it in 2 languages. That is just fantastic. So we appreciate that. And coming soon, we'll have some videos on the 2017 to 2020 upgrade, Appliance OS, and 2020 Update 1 upgrade. So stay tuned for some of those as well. Any questions in chat for training? Trying to get that information out there so you have resources. Again, the Ideas Portal has been redesigned. Micro Focus Filer 4.2 has been released. And then double check the Engage newsletter. Comes out every month, but it is a nice newsletter that we put out for the customers. If you type in Engage, you'll get the URL there. But they do a great job on all sorts of products, including the ZENworks webinars and the ZENworks training and those types of things. All right. And my PowerPoint's having an issue. Stand by a second. We will be with you in a moment. No, we're good. All right. So I'm going to move this Engage over here. Here's the Engage June 2020. And they did a real nice job on different locations and what's coming forward, different products throughout. We even have some of our ZENworks that's in here. But I think they really did it smartly, and if you want to read more, it takes you to those pages. So be aware that that's available to you, and click on that particular newsletter if you're looking for that. Okay? And we did talk about future topics and demonstrations, and we talked about consequences of duplicate GUIDs and database maintenance. These are different individual line items that have been coming in for requests for future topics, and I appreciate all of those. As I mentioned earlier, the ZENcast. Be aware that those are there. We're coming up. We're trying to fulfill these. Mobile management, DMZ configuration for mobile management, DMZ setup, those types of things, patching, endpoint encryption, and those types of things. So what we've done is, of course, today we're doing some more bundling, and we're going to integrate to ZSD for user self-provisioning through the store. And then July 7th and 21st, we're going to be doing mobile management and DMZ. We'll have a product manager come in, and we're going to drill them on that and see how we get that all configured. We thank Vikram for that. Zone design and sizing and maintenance we'll also cover. We have some requests for that, and so hopefully we'll have some good conversation in chat regarding zones and designing and sizing and how to figure some of that stuff out, and what is the common practices for maintenance. Okay, we'll cover some of the best practices. There is a webinar out there, if you check the webinar link, that covers a lot of those, including logging and those types of things. So be aware that that's out there. Check that webinar list. And then in August, we'll be looking at inventory and bundles and virtual applications. All right. So be aware that we're trying to fulfill your needs. Every other week is almost not enough, right? I mean, but we want to make sure that we're in contact with you. We're doing the best we can to try and get you the needed resources and what you want. So please tune in here if you have any questions, even if they're off topic. We want to make sure we at least get an answer for you. So please be aware that every other Tuesday, first and third, yeah, not every other, but first and third Tuesday, join us here, and we'll be happy to talk to you. Today's topic, we're going to do some bundle building, install, launch, repair, uninstall. We're going to do the WinSCP app, and then we're going to go ahead and throw it into Service Desk or import it into Service Desk, so that not only can you deploy it from ZCC, you can also deploy it from ZSD, and the users can go out to their own portal and go out there and select it and be able to manage it. So they can install. So, and you can select, as a store administrator, you can select what are user related and what you need to open a ticket for. But hopefully that'll reduce your ZENworks Service Desk tickets. All right. Okay, if you've just joined us, log into the YouTube chat, join the conversation. We have @, we'll give you a direct message to people that are in the stream, and then exclamation point commands, use those so you can get to those URLs. Okay? Let's do a little bit of lab talk. All right, what are we doing next? Again, we had these questions that we started off with policies and stuff, and really it's general questions of what we want, what we do with ZENworks, right? What is the goal? What are the issues? How do we achieve our goal? What are the dependencies? Who's allowed, and so forth. So today we're doing user self-provisioning, help desk calls that users can avoid, right? If they can go to a portal and get those enterprise apps like Adobe Reader or WinSCP, or be able to do some things that reduces your help desk calls, that's always a good thing, right? How we achieve our goal: research ZENworks integration with ZSD, test, of course, test, document, and deploy. User knowledge is a dependency, so they need to know that portal's out there. So how are you going to advertise that? How are you going to let them know? Maybe through an email, maybe through, if you have a first-time orientation or something like that, you can throw that in there as well. Allowed are users. Will they be able to install those tough apps that they're not supposed to be having rights to install? Well, of course, because ZENworks takes care of that, right? And is it time sensitive? Well, maybe it's continual or location-based, or maybe it's on demand out there because a user has a new deployed device, doesn't know about their department apps and needs to get to those. They can go ahead and either request them through the help desk, or they can go to this portal and try and install them themselves if it's available to them, right? Or at least open a ticket for it to be approved. And then final results: help desk calls reduced, we hope. User ownership, they feel like they have a little bit of ownership over their device. So a couple of things there. All right. So again, the user self-provisioning is to identify the enterprise or self-provision bundles, verify that it's corporate policy, right? Make sure there's the software or EULA is valid and you have licenses for it. identify the ZENworks integration with ZSD. One thing that I did at my previous employers, we had AutoCAD, which is very expensive, right? So we'd use ZENworks to see if it was how many people had it. Excuse me. How many people had it. We'd check inventory, and we'd also check the usage in ZENworks to see how many people have been using it. If they haven't been using it, then why do they have it, right? Give it up for somebody else. And so we used that, and then we were able to have that department be able to use, reduce the amount of licenses they needed, and actually give it to the people that are using it. So very powerful ZENworks, and then in Service Desk you can also deploy those to particular devices or users. Knowledge transfer to the users. Check the portal before calling help desk. See if it's out there. Go ahead and download it. Limitations, maybe location licensing or updates. How do we achieve our goal? Review the documentation. Service Desk appliance is powered up. ZENworks integration is set up, tested, and bundles imported. We'll do some of that today. Store administrator role is assigned. So in ZCC, when we have a ZCC administrator to be able to deploy a bundle, they obviously need rights. Well, that is linked through Service Desk, that they need to have those rights so that Service Desk can deploy them as well. So you have a store administrator that configures and actually can set up all those parameters for deploying. Bundles published and configured through ZSD user portal. And hopefully we'll see that today. So you excited out there? I hope so. Not seeing much chat, but I'm glad you're here. User awareness, education of the process to users and admins. Portal link added to desktops. Maybe in ZENworks you're using the browser HTML links as a policy or a bundle. You can go ahead and add this to the list, so they can go right to their browser start menu or bookmarks and select the portal link so that they can get those. Notice on Help Desk portal about enterprise application self-provisioning. Maybe you send an email or you have some ticker tape or something that goes out regularly. Okay. Dependencies, what is required? Make sure you're in accordance to the corporate policy and security administrator approval. If you have that level, make sure that that's aware, and make sure it's documented so that there's no question on that particular process. ZENworks configuration, you need a ZCC administrator with bundle device and user rights, and then have a ZSD Store user. Specific bundles identified. Which ones are you won't want to do this with all of them. You'll want to do this with a few of them that obviously you want to control. Within your control, but within the user's control as well, right? And then ZCM to ZSD integration. We'll show you some of that today. A ZSD system store enabled. So we're going to make sure our ZSD is store enabled. Now, if you own ZENworks configuration management, maybe you install it on a Windows or Linux, or maybe you have it on an appliance. If you own it, you also own 2 licenses of Service Desk. So you can prop up this appliance without any additional license costs. Okay? And then you could start linking and tinkering with this to get it refined so that you can actually deploy bundles through that as well. You can use it as a ticketing system and play with that as well, but as part of the ZENworks bundle deployment, you can also prop up this appliance at no extra charge and be able to have a customer portal out there for your customers. Default store team must support the workflow. So you have a default store team in ZENworks Service Desk, and there's a workflow. So you can actually take this to the extent where once the customer clicks on the particular bundle, it will then auto approve, because maybe it's Adobe Reader and you want to make sure everybody has that. You can go ahead and make it auto approve and then through the workflow, and it'll just install there. No help desk tickets required. no intervention from the IT staff. All right. So and that's what we're looking for, is automation. So be aware that you're able to do that. User to self-provision. The bundle has permission by ZCM, so they can install and uninstall depending on what you put on that bundle, right? So you got to think about that when you're creating the bundle of what you want the users to be able to do. And then assignments are linked, of course. And then, is it time sensitive? On demand, maybe. Or maybe it's a particular location. If you're in this location, you want to make sure they have that particular application. Or before login, time of day, those types of things. Final results. Was your goal achieved? All steps completed? Follow-up needed? Maybe you've gotten to the point where you have the customer portal up, and now you need to start the workflow and be able to make it auto-approve. So your goal was achieved to be able to get the bundle to the device, but there's still some steps that aren't quite done yet. So again, take this in steps. If you haven't played with Service Desk at all, dive into it, put up the particular appliance and play with it, and you'll be able to leverage what you already own to help reduce some calls maybe. And then company documentation. Make sure you update your company documentation. All right. So we'll cover a few things about troubleshooting, some logs and so forth, should we need them. But we're going to go now to the lab. Are there any? Hey, Mark P. Glad to see you. Thank you. Appreciate you coming back and joining us today. Thanks for joining in the conversation. Any questions out there as far as what we're going to cover today? And we're going to go, I'm going to reduce this. We're going to go here. And we're going to go to the lab. So let's get some things started. I got this guy open. We're going to move this over here. For some reason it wants to keep opening up on my first monitor. So we have a 20.1 appliance up. Okay. I did an update, an online update, so reboot's needed. I'm not going to do that right now. We'll just carry on. Here's a ZCC. We got a couple of bundles here. We have a server. We got a workstation logged in here. And then we have our Service Desk appliance that I propped up. And it basically has not been configured yet. So we can go to, we're going to go to ZCM. Oh, and I didn't show you my device. So we do have a workstation out here. Okay. This one. All right. So we have info collect already there on the device. It's under the administration, tech tools. We're going to add a WinSCP in here so that you can see that. All right. We're going to, I'm going to configure, oh, timed out. I'm going to configure Service Desk to 160. You want to go to Service Desk and register to Service Desk so the certificates, they can share details. Looks like I've already done that on this particular setup. We'll go ahead and let that finish. So that's the one of the two configurations in Service Desk is to link to your Service Desk. Sorry, the two configurations in Configuration Manager is link to the Service Desk through the configuration right here, and then the administrators. So one thing I did do is make a store administrator role with bundle rights, device rights, and user rights. Remember we mentioned that's what we needed. And then if we go to the administrator, we can see that Roadrunner is in there with those rights so that he can manage the store in Service Desk. Got it? Harish, Mentions any questions on article and blob file missing. Add modify. Thanks in advance. Yeah, you might see if you can add a little bit more to that, Harish, about the article that you're referring to. Might get some more interaction and understand. That way I can understand what you're referring to. So go ahead and do that. Remember, we're on about a 2-minute delay. So I'm seeing your... Hey, Don, I didn't see you there earlier. Thanks for joining us. I'm a 2-minute delay, so I'm not actually... I'm seeing your chat live, but you'll see my response probably 2 minutes later. Or if I miss you like Don, maybe a little farther later. Good morning. So yes, please, Harish, explore a little bit more on that. Let's see how we can help you there. Okay, I'm going to go over to bundles, and we're gonna create. Now we have our licensed bundles. Might be Microsoft Office, might be AutoCAD, might be who knows. Then you got your enterprise bundles, which are throughout, right? They WinSCP. Well, actually not WinSCP. Maybe Adobe Reader or Notepad++, those types of things. And then we're going to actually go to WinSCP really isn't used by too many people, so we're going to go to the administration tech tools. And one thing, actually, before we put it here, is we're going to go to our testing area and start there. That way we know we're still in process with this particular bundle. So let's go to bundle, and we're going to create a Windows bundle here. Okay. Now we'll just do an empty bundle. We could do a simple application. We know we're going to launch WinSCP, but I want to configure more than that. I want to identify it with other things. We're going to be doing uninstall and so forth. So we'll do WinSCP. And do we have an icon? I think I have an icon for this. Glad you're here, Don. And put this over here, G products, logos. And down here, I should have a WinSCP. There we go. All right, there's our icon. WinSCP for technicians. I didn't check the. I went quick through that. I didn't check the do more, but it's automatically checked now. So that's a good thing in update 1 that they've done. So we're in actions. We're gonna add. We're gonna add. Let's do an install. I think I have it in an exe. So install executable. And let's go find it. Now the difference between install executable and, oh, here we go. It's coming on my other screen here. So let's go browse. Difference between install executable and copy executable is one comes from the repository and the other comes 17.6. It's an exe. And one comes from, so if you do an install, it actually brings it into the repository. If you do a copy, it assumes that that particular file is accessible, right? I like to put this in so we can see what it is when we look at our actions. Okay. I don't have any line commands at this time. Advanced. We're just gonna install it. So we can run it as logged in user or run a secure system user. We won't see any desktop interaction if we do that. So we're going to do Dynamic Administrator so we can see what's going on. And the first thing we do is go like that and apply. All right. So let's go ahead and let's go over to our devices. And we have to put our device workstation into, let's go, oh, am I in servers? No, I'm in workstations. Search for our device. There it is. We're going to go to our device and put it in test mode. So that way the sandbox content will come down. Okay, so we're going to hit this, make it test. Now it will see sandbox items. All the other devices that are not in test won't see this if it's assigned to them. So that way, once you go live with this product and you publish it, and it has a version, it will then show up on everybody else's non-test device as well. Okay, there's that. We're going to take the assignment. We're going to add a direct assignment to it, and we'll go to Administration, Tech Tools. Oops. Oh, I went into my test, didn't I? I got testing area, Paul, WinSCP. Okay. And we're going to put it on the desktop, and we'll hit next. The schedules, we're just going to drop it on the desktop. We're not going to do any schedules like distributing before we install later or anything like that. And then we're just going to look at the summary and select finish. So to answer Don's question, is Service Desk an entitlement with ZENworks Suite? Yes, it is. Any ZENworks product. If you only own the component ZENworks Configuration Management, you own Service Desk. So thank you for that question. That is correct. No additional license. You have 2 licenses so that you can use an administrator and a technician and configure what you need to configure. So thank you very much for asking that. Let's go over to, I wanted to go over to here, and we want to refresh our Zap window. And we should get another folder in here called Test once that finishes. Okay. Let's see. Well, it dropped on the desktop, and it's also in the testing area. You can see here, and it dropped on the desktop. We're gonna right click, and you could do different things with this by setting favorite, pin to start, pin to taskbar. What I want to do is properties, see the properties. So as we install it, we can see how it's installing. So it's downloading. And installing. And you have an install bar at the bottom here. Don't see it yet. Let's look. PC program files. I don't see it install. I don't see it installed. This is my zone is update 1 GMC. Let's try this a little bit different to get things moving on. Only because, do I have it here? WinSCP actions. I haven't actually done an install executable. It should be just like an install MSI. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add, because I don't see it coming. It came down, but I don't see it actually installing. Copy files. keeps moving over here. Browse. G products. SCP. I'm going to take this guy. Okay. This is my fallback method. And we'll just put it in temp. And copy always. Alright. We'll run that as secure system user. And we'll also, one thing you can do is you can go this, requirements, add filter, if file exists, no, oops, sorry, did I select the wrong one? Add filter, if file exists, I think I did size instead. Let's move on. We're going to say no. And so if it is already there, this particular file, then don't download it again. Okay. If that file exists on the CTEM, you don't need, does not exist, then download. All right. And then we're going to do an install. I'm sorry, not install executable. Cancel. Launch executable. And I don't have the line parameters, so we're going to do this. And we'll hit OK. Now, we want to run this as maybe dynamic administrator, run secure system user. We do need to wait for the previous action, right? If it's copying it down, we want to make sure it waits. So proceed when action is complete. So you're gonna proceed after the previous action, and we're gonna hit apply. Okay, now it should at least drop in and launch. Oh, I know why this one. Nope, dynamic administrator. We didn't do it as system administrator. All right, we'll carry on. We're going to disable this one. I have not personally done an install executable. So I apologize for not having that out the gate. Okay, good. Cancel. I can't apply that yet. Oh, we don't want to publish. We only have one device, but this one is copy. This one is advanced. We're going to disable it. So we're going to hit this. Continue on failure. We're going to actually disable. This is what I wanted to do. So now I'll just do a copy. All right, you bearing with me? Thank you for that misinterruption there. We're going to go back over to, why do you want to, there we go, okay. Let's go, okay, let's do a refresh. We should get the X again. Once it's done refreshing, showing that's not installed, right? Something's changed with that sandbox. We're going to hit open. And there, okay. Could not find it to copy. All right, so that helps us understand a little bit more what's going on. G products, that's because I okay. Boy, I just need to restart this one all over. Sorry, I'm going to confuse everybody now. The art of going live. Let's go new. Bundle. Bear with me, people. Thank you very much. New. Empty. WinSCP. We're going to go to the icon. It's going to come over to my other screen here. Yep. We're going to go to G, Products, Logos. And we'll go to the bottom. WinSCP. There we have it. Next, create and define additional. So they've made this default. Before it was not. Create a sandbox was, but define additional properties was not. That's where I went too quick the last time. Okay, so now under install, we can do add, and we're going to install a file because install comes from the repository. So the file is WinSCP. Add. That's what I did. That's what I did wrong the last time. Add. G products. WinSCP. 17.6. Upload. And we tell it where we want to put it. So we want to put it in C:\temp or whichever you prefer, and we're going to hit OK. Right? That's going to run a secure system user automatically. We're going to go ahead and OK that. Now if we want to go ahead and apply, take this each step of the way, relationships, add, let's find our workstation device. There it is. Okay. And we're going to put it on the desktop as well. Hit next. No schedule. Just finish. Now when we go over to our desktop, we should be able to refresh this. And we'll see it come into a directory on C. So let's go to C. Called temp. Not there yet, but once we have it, there we go. Let's go ahead and do properties, open, boom. It's there. Okay, step 1. Step 2. Let's go real quick to actions, install. And we have this in this directory. So we can go like this, copy. We can also do that requirement that I mentioned earlier. If file exists, right? No, go ahead and do this copy. That'll save some time. Okay. The next step would be to install it. Install file. I'm sorry, launch executable. And we're going to launch the SCP. And I'm going to put that in here. We don't have command lines. We're going to run this as dynamic user. And we want to proceed when action is complete. Do we need any other launch options? We don't. Okay. Hit OK. Follow me? Thanks, Mark. I know I was all over the place. This is how I usually work, he says. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back over to the device. And now we can hit refresh again. Actually here. And you can refresh obviously from down here, or you can also refresh from here. Okay. At the top, it's currently doing it, so. You see the X? So we got properties. We're going to go ahead and now it went straight to installing, right? Oh, there it is there. Install for all users. Accept. And if we had an automated way, we'd research how to automate it with /s or so forth. All right, we're going to do commander. That's fine. and install. You know what? This showed up. I wonder if that was from the launch install executable. I bet you it was. I didn't pay attention down there. Okay, we can then, don't open, we can launch, see if it comes up. And it puts an icon on the desktop. All right. There we go. We have WinSCP. Now we want to make sure we can remove WinSCP when the technicians are done. So we're going to open up regedit. Why not let the app run as a local user in case it needed writes? This one, it probably would have been okay, but I wanted to make sure I wanted to make sure that it would install for the user, so I bumped it up. Thanks for asking, Jose. Hope that answers your question. Let me know in chat if it doesn't. We're opening up the Reg editor. Local machine software. Microsoft. Windows. Current version. Uninstall. Hit the U and it'll take you down there. Uninstall. And then what I do is I typically go view, search, or find WinSCP. Didn't see it. Probably because it's in the WoW. No, there it is there. Nope. Let's search again. There's that location, and then there's the WoW 6432. And this is the 32-bit area, and that's what I installed, so I should have went here first. But no, both areas are there. I'm sorry. Microsoft, Windows. Let's go back. Windows, current version, uninstall. And should we have kept searching on WinSCP, it would have eventually found this here, I'm sure. That's 15.6. Typically in here, you'll have an uninstall string right there. That makes it easy for me, right? As an administrator, I can copy that. Now I can go back over to here under uninstall. Option. We're going to enable the uninstall. Notice that it's blank by default, right? It doesn't really uninstall unless you specifically tell it. I want to enable. There's different options in here. Allow the user. I want to allow the technician to uninstall. Okay. Display a message and being able to cancel the uninstall. Blocked. If you block this particular, will it uninstall or not? Right? Because in ZCC you can actually block bundles from assignments. So if you've assigned it, you can block it, test it some more, enable it, and publish. Other options: uninstall application if not used within so many days. We could also check that. Ignore change dependencies. If you had .NET, for instance, that was required, you installed that with a bundle, do you ignore that? Typically, yes. But there may be others that you want to be able to clean up. And do not uninstall application on an assignment. So we're going to say allow user to perform uninstall because we want to also, if it's unassigned, have it uninstall. Okay, so just a few options there to be aware of. All right, and now it says under the undo uninstall applications, it's going to go and do launch executable. Well, because I didn't automate this as I did it individually by installing the file and then launching the executable, I'm going to disable this and I'm going to add my own we're going to launch an executable by that uninstall command we saw earlier. Okay, we can take the quotes out and we can put them here too so we can see when we can see what it is when we're just looking at actions. We're going to also run this as a secure system user. We don't need them to see anything. We just want to have it uninstall. As long as we've tested that uninstall doesn't have any prompts, right? Sometimes it has prompts. So maybe we should do dynamic user first. Let's go ahead and hit OK, hit apply. And we have the sandbox again. Let's go look at our device. Okay. Let's go ahead and we're going to refresh. Now it'll probably want to install again. It'll just install over the top. Oh, wait a minute, repair. Oh, there's the uninstall. So now it's, because it's already saw that it was installed, it added the uninstall to the base here. Let's go ahead and do an uninstall and see if it works. See, there's a prompt. So we probably have a switch. We could do /s or something to automate that, but it's a good thing we did dynamic administrator. Otherwise, system user, this would be masked. You wouldn't see it and it would just be sitting there. All right, and never actually complete the task. Okay, so it's very important to understand just taking it step at a time. Okay, we'll just hit close. And it took it off the desktop. Okay. So we got some prompts there. We know we need to address those. All right. So we'll do a little bit of research on WinSCP, how to install silently, how to uninstall silently. And that just takes a little bit of Googling to do, obviously. I don't need, oh, there's WinSCP. Is it, oh, because it was still open. That's why it failed on the uninstall. So let's go ahead and open. Installing, install for all users. So we really want to automate this by putting in a /s or something. I wonder if, let's go real quick, unless chat knows. All right. /silent. I saw it on the previous page right here. All right. So now let's do that. Let's go back over. We're going to go to Control Center. We're going to go to our install page. Install WinSCP. Now that's the install files, right? So it comes down to the ctemp. Launch executable. And we'll put a /silent right there. And we'll hit OK. We'll hit apply. Now the other thing I want to do is uninstall. Oh, right there, unattended. Oh, that's installation. Let's do uninstall. Uninstalling WinSCP silently /silent. Thought I saw that on the page. /silent. But it does not suppress the cleanup. Okay, so research of that will need to be done. Let's go on back, and we can do that under the uninstall, launch executable. Was it silent or silently? I think it was just silent. Silent, okay. All right. So what did we put under here? Yep, dynamic. So we can see it in case there are prompts, which it says there will be for some cleanup. Let's go back over our device. And we're going to finish. We're going to uninstall. Okay. I don't need that right now. That was the page for WinSCP. We're going to uninstall. Yes. Do you want to clean up? Yes. And we want to clean up all the information. My mouse is not reaching. There we go. Hit OK. Let's uninstall and then we'll install with our latest. We got to refresh, right? Whatever needs to be done manually, we could then determine what those things are, and maybe it's a register key. We can delete that register key through ZENworks under the uninstall statement. Or remove a file or whatever, right? So let's go ahead and we're going to try this one more time. We're going to open. It didn't do it silently. So we need to do a little more research on that. It's currently running. Do I have it? That's doing no. Let's go. Oh, that's because this is still running. That's right, it launches every time. Open. It didn't do it silently. Let's go ahead and publish. Only to bump it up or change the version. Hang on. Let's uninstall. Yeah, that's not silent either. Well, that was good. That was silent. I mean, it showed we could do system administrator for that. Let's do another refresh. See, the one thing about Sandbox is you're not certain if it's gotten the content yet. Typically it is after a refresh. It's pretty good about updating right away. But let's go ahead and open this. If we get, yeah, let's cancel right there. And we don't want to run again. All right, we're going to hit refresh. Let's go see what our install back. Silent install, uninstall. Oh, there's an INI referred to. A load. Okay, we're going to have to do a little more research. Don't want to spend too much time on this, but you get the idea, right? Oh, Jose responded to the DLU. Agreed that the admins need to know your apps first by exposing the switches available. Then transpose all that over to Zen. Exactly. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to figure out we need to know what the application does. And once we know how the application performs, we can then adjust and tell Zen to do the same thing. And thank you, Jose, for that. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna let's see. We got an install. We got launch. We got /silent. I'm curious if it's case sensitive or it's /s. Apply. Check those real quick before we start and go to the next step. Let's go ahead and refresh. All right. Open. Nope. We're going to cancel. And we're going to say we don't want to run it a second time. All right. We're going to refresh. We're going to go back and we're going to try /s. We did Notepad the last time, and I got that down. It's just a matter of figuring this one out. And partly I wanted to not have too much experience with ONSCP only because you could see how I would research it. All right, so we applied that to /s, and we may have to do a file or something, but let's go ahead and refresh one last time. Then we'll start moving into service desk. I'll hit open. Now, okay, so again, we don't want users to answer too many questions because then they're going to call the help desk and say, I got this and this is a prompt. And we really want to customize that for them and just make sure they don't have confusion in installing whatever app they're installing. So we've installed it, it's on the desktop, and we can also turn these things off probably in some type of an INI or something so that it doesn't launch the window or anything. And let's check our uninstall. Yeah, good point. I didn't. I'm glad you brought that up, Jose. Let's go to command prompt. Let's go run CMD. Oops, sorry. Another way to research the switches, sometimes they'll put CD TMP DR and WinSCP /?. Okay, if we do that, sometimes they'll give us, oh, there it is. All right. So there's your very silent. Thank you, Jose. Good job. Needed that reminder. All right. So here's all, this particular app did a great job in documenting these. Sometimes you have to sometimes they don't document it as well. But yes, Jose, very good. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do it very silent. And then there's a /current user if you wanted to do non-administrator mode. There's a /all users. So we don't get that prompt, but I think very silent will do it all. It'll take all defaults. So let's go back over there. This is what I love about this community. There we go. Okay. Apply. Now let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, and we want to uninstall this, right? It's uninstalled. Let's refresh. Now if any prompts come up, they should come up. And I didn't check on turning off the launch automatically, but let's go ahead and see what it does. Wow. Okay, so let me do the all users. Let's go here. See if it completes without any other prompts. Because we might have to put in the all user switch. It looks like it's doing it. Very good. Excellent. So now we go back. Let's do an uninstall. I want to make sure it's all the way uninstalled before we go back, and we're going to do a /all users. Okay. Apply. Do a refresh. Hopefully this has given you some insight on where to go, maybe the registry, maybe like Jose said, doing a /? On how to research. Oh, look at that. Answered that question too. Because if you figure each prompt is looking for a response, we now answered that response to the install. And it doesn't launch automatically because it's a silent install. So there we go. We have that. I'm not going to troubleshoot the uninstall silent. We tried that. It didn't work. I guess we can look one more time in here and see if there's something about uninstalling. I didn't notice it, but I didn't look through all of them. You can force close applications, restart. Yeah, I didn't see any uninstall information in here. So that's going to be a little bit trickier. It's not like it doesn't work. It just launches the uninstall. It doesn't do it silently, which is what we'd prefer. So we'd have to just research that a little bit more. Okay, so we have this done. We have WinSCP ready to go. We're in ZCM. Let's go ahead and look at our configure. We want to put this to the portal. Okay. So we're going to go configuration. Our service desk is configured for 160. Our service desk application 160 is available. We're going to go into the classic. Oh, it timed out. Hang on. SD admin. We go into classic, and we're going to go into admin. Yeah. Okay, right now we don't have anything set up. Move my mouse over a little bit more. So we have ZENworks here, right? What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do an LDAP, and we're going to need to, we have LDAP configured here to digitalair.com, right? Using the ZENworks service. Okay. Now, if you log into Service Desk as super, when you just bring it up, there's two IDs that you can use: admin, and super, and those get changed after you do some configurations. If you log in as super, you get this getting started. All right. So what we want to do, we want to make sure we import users from LDAP. Okay, so we're going to click on this. We're going to hit new. And the reason why is we need, I'm going to go over to my Active Directory. We need those users that are imported Roadrunner as our store administrator. Okay, so if we go to this particular, let me see if I can get it bigger. For Service Desk, we need to configure a couple groups, and you'll see as we do this. We're going to configure ZSD administrators, customers, finance managers. So we have our administrators, and we have our technicians, and we have our supervisors. All right. So we want to make sure those are configured in here. So again, we have, as our supervisor, we have Roadrunner in here. He's also a ZCC administrator with those bundle rights, okay, and those user and deploying to users and devices. So that's pretty much all you need to set up on the Active Directory side, is creating those bundles, or I'm sorry, those user groups for your store. Let's go back over to Service Manager. We're going to tie into that particular Active Directory. And it is 192, there it is. And we're going to do ZENworks service. Password. And we're going to configure save. So now we have integration with Active Directory. We can test it anytime. It cannot find administrators group. That's because we didn't configure on the Advanced tab. This is where your roles are, and this is the AD groups that we're looking at. So if we go in here and we do ZSD in front of these, ZSD, ZSD, in case we're going to be doing others later, we just do them all. Okay. We'll include customers. And this is in the documentation. And then if you have Active Directory or eDirectory, you want to make sure your GUID. This is basically your link from AD attributes to Service Desk attributes, right? So that's what this attribute mapping is for. So whatever's in that particular field in AD will come across into this field over here. All right, we're going to hit save. All right, hit done. We see our digitalair.com here. We're going to test again. This will take a little bit longer because now it found those groups, and it's going to bring in those particular users. And we should see it complete here in a second. Thanks, Mohammed, for that tip. Yeah, very silent worked. We needed to add the /all users. for that. So that seemed to help. So I appreciate everybody's help on that. You obviously have some experience in installing that particular switch or knowing those switches. So thank you for that. This will come back in just a minute. I want to show you what it does. We could go out, we could do done right now if we wanted to, but I wanted to show you where you get your, we saw where it failed on the groups, and now we're going to look at how it pulled the particular groups in and the users in. So we have an Active Directory LDAP set up. That way you can transfer the user over into Service Desk. Then Service Desk checks with ZCC as the role for a storekeeper of the bundles in ZCC or ZCM. The next step will be doing the ZENworks integration. Any questions while I go through this on the Service Desk side? Almost there. It's dredging the Active Directory, and I added some more users and stuff, so it's taking a little bit longer, I think. I have a read-only user in Active Directory so that I could set up this type of connection. In ZCC, it's the same way. If we go over to Service ZENworks Control Center, if we look at my, we're there, digital.com, see I use the same read-only account for all connections that need to be read-only. We can go ahead and close this. Waiting on this. Once we do that, we'll do a sync, and that's where it'll pull in the users. Right now it's just checking to see if it can find the groups and who is in the groups, how many people are in those groups. And then once it does that, we can go ahead and hit sync. Okay, no other questions in chat that I see. So we basically just propped this thing up. We're logging in as admin or super. Super has the getting started, which makes it real handy. And then we're going to do an LDAP. We're not going to sync it because what happens in Service Desk is if you have, there it is, administrators found 1, supervisors found 2, found 4 customers, found technicians. Okay. Now that it's found them, if I should sync, the super ID goes away, and we'd have to log in as one of these 2 supervisors. What I'm going to do, since we're already here, we're going to return to getting started, and we're going to connect to ZENworks. And our ZENworks is 150, right? Right up there. So if we look like at diagnostics, we can see we're at 150. All right, so we're going to go to Service Manager. We're going to type in 92.168.1.150. All right, automatic configuration. Let's give a ZCC administrator or super administrator, and I'm just going to do administrator. Somebody that can actually link to the store. So, setups options have updated successfully, fetching the LDAP AMI configuration details from ZENworks. And we can hit save. I do have a question in the stream. Jose, can the App Store portion of the Service Desk be integrated into customer internal portals, iframe, or other HTML-based integration? That's a very good question. I would have to defer that to Todd or Bob. They've been out there doing these demos and have gotten real intimate with the product. I don't know. I know it gives you a portal, but as far as integrating that portal into iframe or something, that would be great, and I'd have to double check. That I haven't experienced yet. Okay, if you can, please, if you have questions like that, please email me. Okay, just open up an email and put that question in there, and then what I'll do is I'll forward that to the person that can handle that. We want to make sure bundles available via company portals. Right. So you want to keep everything consistent. You don't need to do extra branding if you already have a portal there. Can we integrate that in? So that would be helpful if we could do that. So please email me with that, and I'll get somebody to notify you of that answer. And then next week, what I'll do is I'll cover that question. Okay. Publicly so that others can know the answer. Integration with iframe. Thank you. Perfect. So now you notice we have a ZENworks import, okay, and we have a store. So we're going to look at our ZENworks import. And currently, it configured everything. It went out by putting in that administrator password. It went out and looked at the database, got the username, got the password, got the catalog. The getting started really works well that way. So be aware that that's there. We're going to go ahead and hit edit here, because what do we want to do? We want to bring in bundles. Okay. We're going to test. We're connected. Okay, we're going to hit save. Now what comes up, since I checked one of the item categories for Service Desk bundle, we have to hit analyze. And what it's going to do is it's going to go out and it's going to look at all the bundles in our database so that we could pick and choose which bundles come in. So we're going to go ahead and hit analyze here, and this will take a minute. And if you notice this bell over here, this alarm, starts chiming when it's done. So we've done an import analysis summary. Now we're waiting. What time is it? Yeah, now we're waiting for our import to complete. So if we go to bundle, we can now notice it now says, okay, I see that you have ZENworks. Should you check software, hardware, and mobile device, you'd have software, hardware, mobile device, bundle. So we only check bundle because that's all we're looking for at this time. We're going to go ahead and go to bundles. If we dig down deeper, we should be able to go to test, right? And see, where did it go? There's Notepad++. I didn't move it. Did I put it in another spot? Where did I put it? Because I redid it, right? So where did I put that WinSCP? Right here. It's under Paul's workspace. Okay. Back to Service Desk. We should be able to see Paul's workspace. Oh, because it's not published. We never published it. Let's go ahead and publish. Okay. Got that? Make sure it's published. It won't pick anything that's not published. So let's go back here, and what do we need to do now? We need to go ahead and analyze again. Let's go back to ZENworks import and analyze. Okay? And it's 924. Let's see if it's done. 924. Shows it's done. All right. So now let's go to, hit done. ZENworks import. We can now go to bundle. Let's see if it appears down here. There it is, WinSCP. Okay. We're going to now say, we're just going to check everything. But we need to add one important thing is, do we want a number associated to these bundles, or do we want to use a bundle name? Let's make sure we use a bundle name. That's what we're used to. That's what we'll it'll come into into ZSD as a bundle name. And these, I just picked the default incidents. We don't need to, but in the future, if you decide to do the ticketing, you can. It'll already be set up. These don't have anything on them because this is not the ITIL version. These use ITIL, and that's the enhanced version of Service Desk, and this is a standard. It just does incidents. Okay, we can hit apply here. Any questions there? I don't see any in chat. We're going to bring in any bundle basically that's in the ZENworks Service Desk, ZENworks Configuration Management, and it's going to come in by bundle name. We'll hit apply, and we will hit import. We don't need to analyze again because we haven't made any changes in ZCC. When you make changes in ZCC and add more bundles that you want in, you'll need to analyze again and then bring those in. So we're going to go ahead and do an import. And we're going to go done. And we got this chiming. Five AMI snapshots imported successfully. So that's a good thing. Okay, let's go ahead and hit close. Now remember, we need a store user. Right now, we're in as super system supervisor. Okay. We wanted to configure our ZENworks through the getting started, so we did our Active Directory, which is our LDAP. We did our ZENworks. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the LDAP. And why are there two? What did I miss here? Test. Oh, let's look here. ZSD, right? Yeah, this is not valid, this one. So this is the valid one. And we're going to hit sync. Because if we hit test, it's going to then go out there and look for those groups. And we'd have to wait again, sorry. And then the sync. Almost there. Thank you for hanging in there. We're just about there to display and configure. We didn't sync yet. I pressed test instead, and we have to wait for test to finish before it'll be able to do as well. We should be able to go done. I don't want to force it. Any questions up to this point? Active Directory, ZENworks configured. We've pulled in our bundles. Now what we need to do is we need to configure them as a store administrator. If I go to user, I can't. I gotta wait for it to finish. Okay. While we're waiting, it'll take probably another 3 minutes. So again, if you make any changes in here for additional, you want to make sure that you resync our Active Directory, covering that again. We have the groups in here that we've defined that it's actually looking for in here right now under the advanced ZSD. Being appliance, again, you have to put a VA storage attached to it. So when you bring in your appliance into VM or Hypervisor or Citrix, be sure to add that additional disk. That's in the documentation. Once it finds that disk, the Service Desk database and everything gets loaded onto that disk. So when you do upgrades, it's easy to upgrade from one version to the next. Basically, by moving the VA storage to a new OS, upgrades the OS for that particular appliance. So at this time, Service Desk is only an appliance. So if you don't have a virtual hypervisor or something, prop one up so that you can throw the appliance on it and see how that works. Most environments do, but not all. Okay, we're getting there. Not there yet. Let's see if we got a... Nope. It'll be blank until it actually gives us that test results. So what else? We're going to need to go to the users and configure a couple of users in Service Desk. One thing to be aware of, we all know users as the people using the products, people using their desktops. We're administrators or technicians. For Service Desk, customers are the users, and the users are the users of Service Desk. So that would be the technicians. So just be aware of that slight terminology difference between Service Desk and environments, right? Okay, so we got a response here. We have import summary. We're good. Let's go done. Close. We're going to go back to setup LDAP. And we're going to go to the one with ZSD, right? And we're going to do a sync. Again, returning to getting started, you have other options here. You can configure your license. You can, and at this time, you don't need to put in. You have 2 licenses because you own ZENworks of some sort. So you'll have the 2 licenses. You don't really need to put anything in. You'll connect to ZENworks, which we did. And then we'll configure email. If you're using, as you use Service Desk for ticketing, everything relies on email. So everything has to have an email address. So be aware of that. If they don't have an email address, they won't be a customer or user in Service Desk. So you configure your email and connect that up. Import users from LDAP, which is what we're doing right now. You can configure role processes. Again, a lot of this is tailored to Service Desk functionality and ticketing. And a ticket comes in and you need to escalate it. You need to change it into a service request from an incident or those types of things. There's SLAs involved and workflows, team assignments and users. Configure the ZENworks store, which is what we're doing now, or what we need to do. And then we've imported ZENworks items, which is what we're doing now. Configure privileges and customize. So this getting started will be on the supervisor's desktop. Whoever's labeled supervisor, in our case we're using Roadrunner, will have that getting started. If we go to, let's go back, let's exit, see if we have, not yet. It's still running the sync for users. Brought in, so it's almost done. So these came in for the LDAP sync, seeing that they're in those groups: ZSD Administrator Group, ZSD Technician Group, and ZSD Supervisor Group. Okay? It just hasn't completed the whole directory. And that'll show us when it's done. Let's go ahead and log out and see if we can log in as Roadrunner at this point in time. Not yet. Oh, here. Because I had 2 in there. Let me show you again. Because there's 2 LDAP, I need to remove the one with the capital D. I was able to log in using Active Directory here. And here's our store setup. Okay. Now the question is, we need to log in as an administrator, and we can just use admin, or the other administrator we had, which was Elmer Fudd. We need to also configure the store to be turned on. And so you go to Setup Privileges, right? What privileges does the user, customer, request, and system have? And that's what we're doing now. So we're going to go to the user. The user is the technician, right? These are all the rights that you have as a technician. If you view all requests or, restricted to team, add any notes, those types of things. A lot of this is for the ticketing, but the integration is in here as well. Include services for customers, privileges for customers, and requests. We're not really doing any requests, but under the system we do have store, which is enabled, and customer store enabled. Okay. If we go back over to ZENworks, we'll see the store is here. We could turn it on, and we can pick Elmer Fudd and hit test. All right, we got a few issues. And Elmer Fudd doesn't have the assignments. I was expecting Roadrunner to be here. For some reason it picked Elmer Fudd in the list. Let's go back over to our AD. Getting the oh, come on now. Not too hard, but my keyboard will put in 2. Gotta get a new keyboard for 1. Let's just view it. So we have 2 2s in there. Okay. All right. So we have our supervisor. It put Elmer Fudd in there. Let's go to administrators, members, add Roadrunner. Because we know, or we can go into service desk and add that for configuration, administrators. Do I have Elmer Fudd? I do. And we can go rights. Again, you can add the rights or add the role. We have a store role. Oh, I have to define what bundles. Add. And we'll do it from the top of the list. Devices. Add top of the list. I was kind of challenged to see if we can actually pull this off in a let's go up 1 in a session here. So I'm hoping we can show you some results of our hard work. We're going to hit OK or apply. But because we applied it in ZENworks Service Desk, of course we need to reapply it here. Hit sync. Wait for that to finish. There's your ADS import summary. Okay, and we'll see another summary of things updated here in just a minute. And I'm hoping after that's done, we should be able to see under the ZENworks store, turning this on, you should have Roadrunner in here. If not, next time we'll do a quick final flow through finishing it up. Of course I could go long and you could drop off if necessary, but okay, we're just waiting for that sync to complete. And that was at 39, so we're still waiting. Okay. So if we look at users, we can see administrator, supervisor, customer, supervisor, customer. And then if we go under users, we can see the users here. Roadrunner was admitted. So we can go under Roadrunner, look and see. So he's supervisor, administrator, he's customer. Because he can place his own tickets or go into the customer portal, right? Default portal, we can specify that, the user portal, admin portal, customer portal, because he has 3. These are just other settings you can set for this user. Not yet. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. Getting dry throat. Okay. So here's our users. Here's our customers. Here's our users. We added Elmer Fudd to the supervisor list, if I remember correctly. And ZENworks. Back to ZCM. I'm just waiting to see this complete. If we dismiss these, they'll go away. And then when we go back to, you'll see the alerts gone because there's no new alerts. To remove this one, we can edit, delete. That's not the one with the ZSD groups. Now there's just one. Save some confusion there. So we're just waiting for that sync to finish. There's the bell. Okay, updated. You can dismiss that. Now if we go to our users, let's see if we have our ZENworks store on Roadrunner. Test. Alright, so now we have either time sync, something service desk configuration is not complete, or doesn't have bundle assignment rights. Let's go back to Roadrunner. Instead of, let's do the old classic way of rights. Add, sorry, wrong one. Add bundle rights. And we're going to, we want view leaf, modify groups. I mean, you could tailor these as you need to, but we do want to make sure we can publish and we can assign. Okay, so we're going to add a particular context, and I'm going to say all bundles. And then we're going to do a user. Same thing, the context, all users. And again, you can tailor these as you need to. And then device rights. Should flow from the store administrator role that I added. Oh, we want to do all workstations. Okay. So with that, we should be able to go to ZENworks, import. We did the bundle analyze. So we'll go to ZENworks store. Oh, went away. All right, you saw what I saw. You saw what I saw. Where did that go? I must have my order wrong. Make sure we can connect. And that just takes a while to do. Wish it was faster. But we took the super administrator off and we added that. It shouldn't matter. You do want to have these, it checks for these rights. So super administrator bypasses all rights. So be aware of that. Even though you have super administrator, the user, ZSD looks for these rights. And we added those to that Roadrunner, so we should be good there. I hit apply, right? Yeah. Okay. Very interesting that Roadrunner went away. I was excited it was there. Now the other thing we might need to do is check time sync. There's our issue. 2:46 a.m. Why is that so far off? That could be why we had that issue. It's tomorrow already. Wow. Okay. We're doing 9. Okay, that could have been our issue too. And that's one of the things it noted up there was time sync. We're still waiting on this. We get coming close to the end. While it's still syncing, I'm gonna go back over to the discussion. And where's my PowerPoint? Let's do. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. Let's go here. So again, next time, ZENcast information every other Tuesday, 1st and 3rd of each month. There is a 5th one this month. We won't be broadcasting then. We'll be broadcasting the following week. Logs and what we are sending. Topics? No, this is the wrong screen. Sorry. What we're doing next is, let's go back. There it is. This is the one I wanted. So we're going to be doing mobile management in DMZ, best practices, and we'll have a demo of that. We'll have a product manager come in, and he's going to show you the different policies and different for iOS, for Android, those types of things. We'll discuss the DMZ and the documentation there. And then 2 weeks later, we'll do zone design. So we'll be talking about the zone design, the sizing, the maintenance, what to do, basically best practices. We'll pull up a zone and have some tools and, work with you on any questions you have with that. So I want to make sure you're aware that's coming up. Wanted to kill a little bit of time so that we can get this done. Any questions out there about upcoming or this particular process? Probably a lot of questions this particular process. Really, it's just there's a nice documentation that Bob put out. I'm double checking with him. If you are interested in this particular integration, he has a step-by-step, and it involves more things like workflows and stuff, and automatic, the automatic part. I just knew it would take too much time. I just wanted to make sure you could see what's in the store through this 2-hour session, but. He has a step-by-step. If you're interested in that, please email me. And I'll make sure that I can get you an official supported type document. It's really not supported because every environment's different, but it gives you a step through on instructions how to do it so that you can see and compare it with the documentation in your environment and get you through getting the ZENworks integration taken care of. Again, we've been doing this for about 30 minutes trying to get this going or configuring it to get it going. We just need to wait for this to finish syncing. Advanced. Store on. I don't see it yet. Testing. So there's the time sync. I obviously missed a step or two. We have the bundle assignment rights set here. Let me go back over to my privileges and double check for the store was turned on. What I'll do is I will, there's your ZENworks integration is turned on. That provides your ZENworks in the blue bar up here, or the gray bar. And then the store settings are both on. You can hit reindex if you want to. What I'll do is the next time we meet, I'll have a reason why this didn't actually complete, why we weren't able to complete it. I will then, before we start our DMZ, I will show you real quickly on the final steps of the store. Okay, is that a deal? I'm sorry that I didn't get this finished. We're coming down to 9 minutes and we're still not seeing Roadrunner here, though we did. I got it on the recording. You saw it too. Import. We already imported, so we have all our bundles. If we were to go back to bundles, you could then do an analyze and go back into bundles if you created more bundles, and then select those bundles as well. So I apologize for that. The demo gods are not with me today. There's our two. We still see them. They've been imported. It's just a matter of finishing the store up. And I should have had a completed version with my VM and then reverted back to start. So sorry I didn't have that. So we'll continue this on another episode of ZENcast. We're right there. Once, if you need that documentation, please let me know. I'd be happy to send it out your way. And this is also documented in the service desk documentation under ZENworks integration. So I'm kind of bummed that I couldn't show you that, because you would then be able to go into the store under, if we were to log out and go into Roadrunner, we can getting started, see the store setup. We would have items in here. We'd have WinSCP, we'd have all the 5 items. We'd then promote them. Okay. We could set store items, store categorization, and once we have the store capable items, we can go into them and allow them to have different titles. If it's a request that they want, you can have them, and you need a request to come to the help desk, we can automate that by them selecting. Once they select it, it'll pre-fill in, I need WinSCP deployed to my device, and they can add other things, and it'll create a ticket for them. So I'm kind of bummed that didn't happen for us today, to be able to see that portion of it, because that's really where the rubber meets the road. I just have to find the one link that I failed to get you today. So I don't see any other questions. I'm sorry to bring you this far, the last 30 minutes, and the configuration was right there, but I missed something. I hope you got a few things out of it as far as the alerts and some of the ways to navigate through the service desk, because it's a little bit different than ZCC. Depending on what roles you have, administrator, supervisor, technician, gives you different options and tabs across here. So just remember admin, and super when you first start out, and dig into it. It'll be great. Any other questions? Chat's awful quiet. I know I'm bummed. Anything else that I can answer? We just don't have the time to complete that last portion, last leg of the race. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to your day. I appreciate you guys being here. Be safe out there with the COVID, and keep your family close, and just care for them. I hope to see you in 3 weeks, because we're skipping a week because of the 5th Tuesday. And I hope you're back for July, where we have some more great stuff about mobiles and device management, and we'll shore up this as well and show you what I did wrong. Okay? I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for supporting this ZENcast. Thanks for participating in the chat, and please look for the next one. And if you subscribe, you'll get the automatic notification if you're logged into YouTube. So hope to see you next time, and thank you again. I appreciate your time.